Good morning, fifth Sunday of Ordinary Time, and we read the Gospel of Luke. One day, as Jesus was standing by the lake of Gennesaret, the people were crowding around him and listening to the word of God. He saw at the water's edge two boats, left there by the fishermen who were washing their nets. He got into one of the boats, the one belonging to Simon, and asked him to put out a little from shore. Then he sat down and taught the people from the boat. When he had finished speaking, he said to Simon, "Put out into deep water and let down the nets for a catch." Simon answered, "Master, we've worked hard all night and haven't got anything. But because you say so, I will let down the nets." When they had done so, they caught such a large number of fish that their nets began to break. So they signaled their partners in the other boat to come and help them, and they came and filled both boats so full that they began to sink. When Simon Peter saw this, he fell at Jesus' knees and said, "Go away from me, Lord, I am a sinful man." For he and all his companions were astonished at the catch of fish they had taken, and so were James and John, the sons of Zebedee, Simon's partners. Then Jesus said to Simon, "Don't be afraid. From now on you will fish for people." So they pulled their boats up on shore, left everything, and followed him. In this encounter of Jesus with Peter, I can distinguish the 5 phases that can be verified in the soul before its spiritual process of relationship with God. The first phase, the prejudices. Let's go to the scene. The fishermen who had disembarked were washing their nets after a long and fruitless night of fishing. They were tired, fed up, very busy, and eager to return home to get some rest. Jesus arrives and asks to borrow their boat. What prejudices could we identify here? The prejudice, "I don't have time. I have a lot of things to do, more important things, like cleaning my nets, taking care of my housework. I don't have time or desire to do something more spiritual. In the end, my family and I have to eat, and praying is not the way to live." Many times, the busyness of life can keep us so absorbed that we don't give God a chance. We don't give Him time to come into our boat, into our life. It would be nice, but I don't have time to do. The prejudice of "I don't need it. What I need is to perform at work, to bring home bread, to climb the career ladder, to get ahead. I don't need a relationship with God now." The prejudice of "what really matters is to be a good person. If I am a good fisherman, I am a good professional, honest, that's enough, isn't it? What matters is to have a good heart. Religion is not necessary." The prejudice of "you caught me at a bad time." The fishermen were working on their nets and they were disappointed. Likely, the last thing they wanted to think about was spiritual teacher coming to preach to them. The prejudice of "it makes me uncomfortable, go and ask for help to others." Perhaps I do consider useful the relationship with God. I would like it, but there's something that makes me uncomfortable about it. So I would prefer Jesus to take someone else's boat, to make someone else uncomfortable, but not me. The act of casting the nets, they were already clean, folded, tidy. To do it again implied something tedious and senseless. The prejudice of "it won't do me any good." What Jesus says is very interesting, very necessary, very nice, but it won't do me any good. It will not help me to solve my real problems or my needs. Or finally, the prejudice of "okay, that's very nice, but now I have other important things to do and to think about and more vital needs to take care of." All these arguments that can appear in the human heart to reject the possibility of establishing a closer relationship with God. The second phase, the act of trust. When Jesus tells him, when Jesus tells Peter to put out into the deep and let down the nets, Peter responds, "In your name I will let down the nets." A personal decision to trust in God and to open the possibility that my relationship with Him could mean something positive for me. The third phase, amazement at the overabundance of grace. They made such a great catch of fish that the nets began to burst. This is a miracle of abundance, like the manna in the wilderness, the widow's measure of flour, the endless oil, the multiplication of the loaves and fishes, the wine at the wedding feast of Cana. All these miracles of abundance have two characteristics in common. They satisfy human needs, and they demonstrate the absolute power of God, who gives far more than one would have originally thought. It's to discover that the relationship with God brings me a happiness, a sense of life that I could never have imagined. It surpasses all my expectations, reorganizes all my priorities. Like the hidden treasure, I find it so valuable that everything else is relative. The fourth phase, the experience of receiving an undeserved gift. Simon Peter threw himself at the feet of Jesus, saying, "Lord, depart from me, for I am a sinful man." The feeling of littleness before the superabundant love of God is something common when there is a personal encounter with Christ. Fifth phase, the mission received. Jesus said to Simon, "Do not be afraid. From now on, you will be a fisher of men." The spiritual life begins with receiving, but it doesn't end there. As the classical philosophical proverb goes, bonum est diffusivum sui. Good is expansive by nature. Love cannot be enclosed. Love, by nature, calls to communicate it, to transmit it. We must contribute and share what we have received. So, to recap, this first encounter of Peter typifies the 5 stages of spiritual process: the prejudices, the act of trust, the amazement at the superabundance of grace, experience of receiving an undeserved gift, and accepting the mission of communicating such love and to contribute others. And God bless you.